Is this the last lawnmower I'll ever need? Maybe. Dave Taylor here, and I'm hanging out in the garage with the beast. This is the new Honda, let me get it right, HRX-217 K5HYA. Now, all you really need to know is the HRX-217. The other things are sort of subtle nuances. But this is a monster of a lawnmower, and boy, do I need it. My backyard's crazy out of control, but this thing, no sweat. It's going to be able to handle it, and I have confidence. Now, what makes this so cool? It's a 190cc engine, big engine, double blade. It actually uses what they call the micro cut twin blade, and it's 21-inch gas powered, self-propelled. Now, my previous lawnmower was an electric mower, and it kind of was a pain in the butt because every time I'd get to anything marginally thick, it would just stall out. And then you had to tilt it back, and you had to knock it and get the grass off, and then it would run for a couple more seconds, and then it would just sort of die out again. This thing, I have confidence this thing's going to just crush it. So, before we switch to that, let me just tell you real quick that this has the self-propelled, so the orange here is actually how fast you want the cruise control to work. It's what Honda calls it, cruise control. Whereas the black one is actually controlling the speed of the engine. So it's a gas powered, so you got to put the throttle on, then you got to pull this to get it to start, but it starts super easy. It's really well done. Honda's put a lot of energy into this sort of nightmare experience of gas powered stuff where you can't start it, you can't start it, you can't start it. This does not have that problem. Now, it also has two levers on the top, and this one with the yellow button, this controls whether the blades are moving or not. And Honda calls that roto stop. And the idea is that if I'm running like this with the blades going and I suddenly need to stop it, I can do that and the engine will keep running even though the blades have stopped, which is actually really cool. And then when you're ready to start the blades again, push the button, push it forward, and now you can hear, and you'll see in a sec, that you can hear there's a very distinct difference when the blades are turning and when they're not. And then the second bar, this is your cruise control. And these are really nice. If you've just had a push mower and you've had to go through the work of going uphill and everything, this makes everything really nice with its auto drive. So there's more I want to tell you about this, but let's just switch to actually mowing because I know that's what you want to see. So let's go into my backyard. All right, we're ready for a field test with the Honda HRX-217. Let's see how it does with this crazy weeds. Oh man, that's a lot of work. I'm telling you, I'm not even done with the backyard, but you can see with all that action footage that it's a bear. But this thing's handling weeds that I'm telling you, they're like a foot and a half tall, and it just cuts through everything. It's so fantastic. And what's nice is it has what they call the Versamo system. So you can see here on the back, sort of, let me turn it a little bit, is that there's this control that lets you adjust how far you want to bagging or mulching, and that even includes support for you doing leaf chopping. So when it's the autumn and you have leaves everywhere, you can actually use this mower to mulch all your leaves. How cool is that? Now, one of the other things I really like about this is it has a rear discharge. And that means that you can get real close to your fence or on other stuff on either side. My previous mower had a side eject, whatever this thing's called, bagger, mulcher. And that was a pain because I had to really think in advance. Well, I want to get close to the edge here, so I'm going to have to turn in the other direction. This one, it just works great. It's like a really good vacuum cleaner, but it actually is cutting things, so it's not quite the same. And let's see. Has 7 adjustable wheel heights, which I definitely had to do because first time out of the box, and let me tell you in a sec about the out-of-box experience, but first time out of the box, it was pretty low. And when I cut my front yard, it was pretty darn low. So for the backyard, what I did is I raised it as high as it could. And I think that's part of why this worked out pretty smoothly, is that there was so much vegetation. But this thing wasn't trying to cut, you know, super, super slim. I can now go down and I can actually adjust it. Having said that, let me go back and say this is a 96-pound lawnmower. This is a beast. There's a reason I call it that. And getting the box and getting it out of the box and assembling, you might think is a super big pain in the butt. And getting it literally out of the box is hard. So I just cut the ends of the box and rolled it out, put the handle on, and that was basically the whole job. This is incredibly easy to assemble. So if you get it in a box, don't freak out. Lifetime warranty, and what else can I tell you? That's pretty much all the coolness about it. 190cc, it's a big engine. It's just a big mower. It really is gonna rock and roll. Oh, and it has all the EPA stuff because I know it's a gas mower, so it has emissions, but Honda meets all 50 states EPA emission requirements, so it's as clean as they can make it, and I certainly haven't had any issues. Even as I was using it, I wasn't smelling anything. There wasn't any unpleasant exhaust. It was just me and my lawn. Whoa. Speaking of me and my lawn, can I ask you to click the subscribe button so we can have more discussions down the road? Fantastic, thank you. Now, the only thing left to talk about with this Honda HRX-217 is the price. So, the manufacturer's suggested retail price, according to Honda, is $829. But I'll tell you, I looked online and there's a ton of places where you can get it for $729. So if you're really interested in one of these and you have a yard that requires something this heavy duty, then do a little homework and I suspect you can find it at a pretty good price. And here's the thing to think about too, is that there are $200 and $300 mowers, but when you pay a little more, you really have a mower that's going to last forever. And that's what I think, is that I'm looking at this and I'm thinking the next mower I buy will be a robot, and it will just zoom along and it'll cut things probably on a daily basis. And then I'll look out and it'll be like, this is amazing. Oh, take my VR goggles off. No, I'm just kidding. The mower itself is going to do great. But this is the Honda HRX-217. You can learn a lot more about it at the Honda website, which is at powerequipment.honda.com. This is Dave Taylor, and there's no way around it. I got to go back and finish my yard, so I'll catch you in my next video.